And that brings me to a bonus, which is raising your energy over the thing you're trying. If you're aware of the pattern, when it reaches the climax. So if you're aware of the pattern, and before it reaches the climax, and you decided to take that leap of faith early on in the stage, before reaching to the edge and suffering through the edge, and just taking that leap of faith earlier, when you're not even antagonized, or you're not even going through an intense climax, with every test, if you refuse, and every time if you reject the pattern, the solution, and continue having it by just sticking to what you are and what you know, and being in your safe, trusted comfort zone, then by the time the climax ends, you're gonna have been drained of your contrast energy, and you're gonna go back to the normal life, feeling that you've missed it so much, regardless, even if it carries betrayal, distrust, or hatred, or cheating, or failures, or anything, or just deprivation of the self and degradation of the self. Those patterns will just keep you going through whatever for that thing it's being exchanged for. That could be safety, that could be a certain image in society, that could be someone's love, a significant other's love, or acknowledgement, or a parent's love, support, aid, financial, or just, you could do it for the exchange of just money, and just remain in that loop for materialistic reasons, and never going beyond who you are at this point. And then realizing that perhaps when you're 50, 60, 70, when it's too late to make that change. And that's what happens to many people, is that they look after 40 or 50 years and realize that this is not how they wanted to live, that they never took control of creating their life, and just remained a byproduct of cause and effect, which are the patterns that are driving you. So the bonus way of overwhelming this kind of patterns is by raising your energy above the whatever aspect is being challenged in this pattern. And that means that you can, but that also requires a certain effort. It requires that you shift your perspective in some way before you proceed to raising your frequency and building up energy within you, and until you rise above this pattern's energy and break it without having to go through all the shadow work, and realizing and making decisions and choosing and understanding and trying to catch on to the source of this pattern, and to where it's evolved from, and how to change it, and how to change your reaction and start controlling yourself. Everything while raising your frequency, everything of this thing manifests itself. If there is something that's keeping you away from it, it's gonna dissolve by itself. If there's something that's serving as an obstacle, it's gonna be removed, and the more you raise your energy, you're gonna start seeing things happen without you actually, and you're gonna even get the same insights, not to the same extent if you would have done all of the shadow work over yourself, and realize that yourself through observation and learning. But you'll still feel the same, you'll still get over by raising your energy, by going, you're gonna see it in the process of raising your energy. If you're intent on raising your energy over that kind of thing, you're gonna see all what you need to see, the main things along the way, but you're not gonna have the full-on insight and realizations and trial and error you go through as much with shadow work. So if and how do you raise your energy? You raise your energy, it's of course the best way is through meditation, and there's also beyond meditation there are many other different, probably from every aspect you can choose to raise your frequency and vibration through the way you live, through who you surround yourself with, what you surround yourself with, and the food you eat, the way you spend your time, your free time, how much value you put into different things, and how you're expending your energy in general. If you spend more time in nature, connected with nature and with reality and with your breath and with everything matters, or if you just focus yourself at a single point and it's just putting your faith into a single thing or into a single direction or a belief. All of this, they're all different ways of actually raising your energy and raising yourself up and vibrating higher to get over a certain negative phase in your life, or in this matter, it's a certain pattern. And that's how you notice patterns and work on eliminating them and trying to break through them and moving onto the next stage of your life, breaking out of this loop you've been going through, whether emotional or it came in a relationship, or it keeps manifesting in a job or in life in general, or with certain assets you're holding, or in a financial matter. It depends, and if you keep going back just because of what it has to offer to you, nothing is going to change. The way you can actually change this without changing your situation is removing your opposing factor. If you're going through an abusive relationship, remove your need to not have an abusive relationship. That's one way, and it's energetically it's not gonna be there. A pattern will not be formed because there's no contrast. But you cannot stop how you're feeling. If you can really reach to that level of discipline and stop yourself from feeling hatred and bad and contrast, that extreme contrast towards what you're experiencing, then you're not gonna create energetically a pattern that makes you decide whether you really want this or not, because you're sending off these vibes to your source. And so it has to manifest at some point, reaching a climax. So if through the pattern you keep your emotions regulated and in balance, not one opposing the other very intensely, and both are very strong, if you manage to do that, it will not reach a climax, but you're gonna live for long times, and eventually it will have to reach a climax, either through the partner cheating, and then you have a clear evidence of choosing whether to leave or stay for the whatever it's offering you, whether to leave and get your self-respect and your confidence and your self-worth, or just stay through it because many different reasons, depends on who you are and how you are, and you're gonna reach a point where that demanding, exploiting boss you have, or where you're put into a real bad situation that makes you for example, even though you're working your ass off, you could be given a demotion for some reason, and something like, or even your salary is being cut for external reasons, not necessarily because you've done something, but for whatever reason. And then even though you're working perhaps much more than everyone else, others that you know, everyone else that you know, these kind of things, they those are very practical examples that I'm giving, but this goes way beyond that in every aspect, like I've explained. And that's why those are the patterns. Maybe you're gonna experience a partner falling off, losing some kind of stability, losing some kind of privilege in your life over and over, maybe losing it and then gaining it and losing it, and you're gonna notice it, building on what I've said. So just take care of your energy, and if you wanna progress in life, you have to make a hard decision usually, to break out of these recurring patterns. If you're comfortable living with these patterns, even though there are things you hate, work on regulating your emotions towards what you hate. Because if you keep hating it, and building that kind of energy, it will manifest as a pattern, and it's gonna reach a climax, which is usually a bad thing. So those are all ways that you can just overcome. I hope I did not forget anything, and I'm sorry this ended up being a 40-minute video. Wow. I don't know, I'm probably gonna separate them into 2 parts, which I'm very sorry for this, and I knew this was gonna happen for our first video, so I'm gonna probably again separate those into 2 parts. And I will certainly work on this starting from the next video, because this is not really of any good. Thank you, and have a good day and the good rest of your life. See you.